And here we are again. Time for some War Thunder. If this is the first video you've ever watched, then I'm Drew the Geek. You visit me at drewthegeek.net. This is about War Thunder. Go to drewthegeek.net. Click on the game button. Click on a link. You can go download yourself a copy of War Thunder. The game is free to play. Now, just a heads up warning. I cuss. I drink. And I offend people. If you can't take that, get the fuck out of the kitchen. So, we are going to be pulling in here a little bit. Should be coming up in a second. There it is. Knew he'd find it. Okay, get my reward for the day. Ooh, 15%. That should give me a little bit better. So, let's see. I guess that's 111 meters absolute detection. So, range increases by 2.5. 2.5 times. A little bit better place for it, I guess. Maybe. Maybe not. Put me back down. Put me back where I belong. Horrible driver. Alright. Ouch! Damn! Better do better on you. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I'll bring you in there. I was going to bring my new Ostwind that I got yesterday, but I just started. Pardon me, I think he probably got one of those lucky shots. So if you were paying attention to the last video, talked about that huge snowstorm that we were getting, well, I think we probably couldn't have gotten more than 6 inches. I mean, it's probably closer to like maybe 3 or 4 inches of snow, but it's really heavy, wet stuff, so I actually ended up staying up all night, and then early in the morning I went and I went and did a whole bunch of, I took care of the neighborhood. You know, I live in a little cul-de-sac, so we went out, plowed those sidewalks out. And my brother came by with his snow plowing mitt, and finished off the streets for us with the other city snow plows didn't do. So, wasn't too bad. It's all frozen solid now.
Artillery, clear reference! Attack the A-point! It serves him right.
I was in the right spot, and I killed his target, but the problem was that I couldn't move. There was that huge group there, and I did not see them sitting there.
If we don't do something fast, the enemy will win. He's being wounded! Ready! Attack the A-point!
Ooh, I opened a battle trophy. How the fuck did I do that?
Transbase FM. Deine Top Tracks.
Nope, sitting in the wrong spot. Well, let's see. The A point or the B point? The C point? This one's taking a while to load. FPS isn't bad. Ping's not bad. There we go. That explains a few things. That's a little bit better. And, bring up my volume, my vocal volume a little bit. Capturing it. It's okay. Typically these things are pretty hotly contested, so
I'm sorry.
well, you got me.
Enemy forces have captured a zone.
Got me. Alright. So now I'm gonna bring this one in. Capture the B zone, which we actually need to do. Tell you, man, I am so beat. Went out and did that snow throwing today. I guess we could call it a snow blower, but it's actually technically a snow thrower. But I went out and did that, and then I came back in, took a little nap, and then went back out again, did a little bit of shoveling in areas that I couldn't get with the snow thrower.
Allied forces have captured a zone. Allied forces have captured a zone.
See, I haven't researched parts on this one yet, so the only place I can repair is here, but fortunately the only damage I've taken has been with my crew. Or unfortunately, I'm not really sure.
If we don't do something fast, the enemy will win.
See, I've got really weak armor. I had a beat on him, and I'm going to use my backup because I'm at the last of that that special research booster. So the idea is that I got that reward for that backup. So the idea is that hopefully I'll earn more and I'll have more research done on this. Because I really need to get into other parts to get other stuff built up in order to make this a little bit more of a make it deadlier, I guess. So let's see what we got. It looks like we may have a group that's thinking about going up to the spawn point there. knew he was around there somewhere. I just couldn't figure out where the fuck he was. It's alright, we might win this one. What else we got here? Oh look, aerial view. Be interesting. Yep. Someone else who can't fly.
Enemy forces have captured a zone.
Yeah, they're basically just waiting for it to be over. It's basically what's going on. See, we got very little red left.
Let's keep the pressure on.
Yep, there it goes. Alright, so for those of you who are not in the United States, this probably is completely irrelevant to you, but you know, I've been doing some thinking about, you know, healthcare. And I know that we've got a divided nation here, and I know that the bottom line is that everybody wants access to healthcare, you know, and it's expensive. I mean, it's really freaking expensive. You know, and when you actually look at, oh man, I was thinking, like, Uncle, like, you know, we went to extreme methods to save his life when he got sick, and I think that was like something like $400,000 or $500,000. You know, and that's, you know, that's to some degree that's what you get for a cost of a human life. I mean, that's not, you know, that you can't put a price on human life, but you know, that's what we're talking about. You know, and who pays for that? I mean, really. And so, you know, for me, you know, I think more along the lines of, when I think about healthcare, I think about the quality. Like, I think about what we're able to give. You know, how much it actually costs. Can we bring the cost of healthcare down? Not the cost of health insurance, okay, but the cost of healthcare. Can we make healthcare better, more efficient? Can we get it into a, you know, a place where it's not going to cost us much, where it's, less expensive to do some of these tests and things like that? I mean, is there a way that we can accomplish that? You know, that's, to me, that's sort of like what I think of first, you know, when I think of healthcare. So, you know, that's what I think is important. But right now, if we were to go to a system where you got truly, you know, I guess you could say state-provided health care, okay, then we would have no need of insurance companies. And think about all of the people that the insurance companies employ. Now, don't get me wrong. I think that a true good healthcare system is one where we won't need health insurance, and it's certainly something that I would think that we would want to phase out over time, to where we wouldn't really need it. You know, where we could choose whatever doctors or whatever we wanted to go to. Oh, it looks like there's a heavy fight up here. This may not have been a good idea. But anyway, so, you know, when you're thinking about it, you know, you have to sit there and say, you know, there is a big difference between health care and health insurance. If you can afford health care, you wouldn't need health insurance. So, you know, I think that we do need a, there you are. He's hiding over there.
Allied forces have captured a zone.
He's toast. I don't think I hit him, though. There's more over there somewhere, though. So, anyway, now we have Congress, you know, and I looked at the first one. Like, I downloaded that PDF, and I was like, holy fuck, man, this thing's a mess. You know, and the thing is that, like, Obamacare or the Affordable Health Care Act really wasn't the answer. Don't get me wrong, it had some good things into it. But requiring people to have health care, forcing them to pick specific providers, never a good idea. Never a good idea. Shit. Actually managed to get out of there. So, I mean, I've always believed that the smart thing to do is the first stage is insurance regulation. Like, instead of trying to pass an Affordable Health Care Act or even repeal Obamacare, actually, that the first thing you want to do is you want to set up laws to regulate the insurance industry. And you could say that this law supersedes the other stuff in the Affordable Care Act. So you set that up and you do those regulations, the ones that are important, and you look at the other regulations that aren't directly related to, you know, people going to see doctors and stuff like that, like some of the nutrition labels and stuff that were part of the Health Care Act. And some of that's important, and some of that's, you know, smart. But you know, do that first, and then, you know, go in there and talk about, you know, so now you've got the insurance reform. Then let's figure out what it is that we need to provide people, everybody, with what I call catastrophic health care. So if you're in an accident or something like that, like how would we take care of that? You know, I think that it should be done in stages. Ouch. All right, well, if you're going to bring that in, I will bring in the Ostwind. The Ostwind. The Ostwind. I'm sure it has a more complicated German name. But anyway. So, you know, it's just, I agree with the fact that they're doing it in stages, but I think that they need to be more transparent. I do agree with that. Like, don't get me wrong, you know, I supported Trump, and I really think that you know, regardless of what you might think, you think the world is going to come to an end or whatever, I think you're full of shit. I think that if you look at the facts, and that's what's important, look at what he's doing right now. Like, screw the bullshit that happened before he took office. He's the only politician I know of that has taken extreme measures to actually fulfill all of the promises that he made. Like, he's doing everything he can to fulfill those promises. And I don't know any president that's done that. I mean, honestly, I kind of get the feeling like there might be a thing in there where he goes and he goes, you know what? Man, this is probably not a good idea, but I promised them, so I'm going to do it. You know, and, you know, it's just, it is what it is. Like, but, you know, honestly, I wouldn't fault the guy. If he came out and he said, you know what, I promised you this, but now that I'm in office and I have details that weren't available to me during the campaign, you know, this just isn't viable, but I'm going to do this instead, you know. You know, we look at immigration. Like, it is a pain in the ass to become an American citizen. I mean, a serious pain in the ass to become an American citizen. You know, we need to fix that. We need to make it, you know, streamlined, a little bit more accessible, a little bit easier. We need to figure out a way that we can vet people so that people that we can, you know, like, I know this one guy, he's been trying to become an American citizen for almost 40 years. Can you imagine that? 40 years. That's ridiculous. So, you know, if we can figure out a way to vet people, you know, to, you know, so that we can skip some of this other stuff and get them to become an American citizen, I think that would be great. Let's see what we can do here. See the guy. See, I've been on the receiving end of that too. Oh shit. I didn't realize we were that freaking close. Ah, there we go. So that has to be fixed. We have to make it a little bit, I'm not saying necessarily make it easier, but adjust the process. I mean, I think that's important. We need to really adjust that process. So, you know, that's step one. Let's adjust the immigration process. As far as these people coming from foreign countries, you know, during the Obama administration, the people who I guess are in charge of immigration, I don't know how to put this, but they were the ones who, for the first executive order, they're the ones who determined that people coming from these areas were most likely to be terrorists. So when Trump signed that executive order, it wasn't like he decided these areas. It was actually decided by the previous administration. So all he's basically saying is he's saying, like, we don't know who the hell these people are. You know, like, you know, you got some weird guy, you know, like about a month or so ago, some guy came up to me in the parking lot, and he's like, hey, man, you know, I ran out of gas. I need to get to Richmond. Do you have any money? You know, which is kind of weird, you know, but he looked like, you know, he didn't smell, he didn't look like a bum or anything like that. And I was like, you know what? The guy needs $10, you know. He doesn't look like he's a druggie or anything like that. I'll give it to him. You know, I'll give him the $10. You know, but I had no way to vet him. I had no way to know who he was or where he came from. I didn't know anything about him. You know, I didn't ask him to fill out a loan application, and he could have been anyone. You know, you also go from the standpoint that, you know, what about whoa.
Enemy forces have captured a zone. Attack the A point.
Repair here for a minute.
Defend the C point.
Fuck me up. So basically, it's one of those things where, like, you know, it's not like we can ask these people's next door neighbors, hey, are they a good person? Do they believe in freedom? Blah blah blah. You know, it's not like we have a way to make sure that they're coming to the United States because they want a better life, or they're just trying to, you know, or they want to come to the United States so they can escape, you know, so they can escape what's going on with them.
Attack the B point.
Ooh. Ouchie. Alright, let's bring in Mr. Osborne. Not that I think he's going to do any good, but it's interesting.
Attack the B point.
Alright, so, you know, that's basically what he was saying. He's like, look, you know, we're basically letting in these potential terrorists. Now, we have this issue with ISIS. You know, they're in these areas and they're causing issues, and that's what people are basically trying to escape. They're trying to escape ISIS. Oh, bummer.
The enemy will win.
We're gonna lose this one. So anyway, so let's bring you in. Fuck it. Anyway, so, you know, basically people are like, you know, and people were getting stopped at airports and stuff like that. But you know what? Like, it was coming. Like it wasn't like this is a surprise. You know, and you know, if you're you know, someone who's overseas and you want to make sure that you get back into America, then maybe you should have come in before the election, before you sworn an oath. You know, I mean, it seems like, you know, it's not like this is a surprise, you know, to you. You know, and the thing is, it wasn't that they were permanently banning these people. It was like, wait a minute, you know, we've got a ban on these areas. We need to vet you. We need to, you know, confirm whether or not, you know, you should be here. Ooh, where the fuck did that come from? Oh. Hiding there, huh? So, you know, it's a matter of just being safe. And the thing is that a lot of these people, given enough time, would have been allowed into the country. But then you have these people going in, there's protesters and all this other stuff. Then do you really know what you're protesting? You know, do you really comprehend what's really going on? Do you really know the truth? I mean, hey, let's say that, you know, one of those people who we are letting into the United States came in and killed one of your family members. It wouldn't make you too happy, now would it? And that's basically what we're trying to avoid. You know, we want to avoid someone coming into the United States with the intention of doing us harm. And we learned, I mean, come on, we learned from 9/11 that it's possible. So we want to try to make sure that it won't be possible anymore. So, you know, instead of sitting there and burning down Trump and going out and protesting because you're pissed off because Hillary didn't get in, why don't you just take a look at what he's doing and look at the truth? And forget who actually is the president, but decide for yourself whether or not, you know, what he's doing is actually an intelligent thing to accomplish, something smart to be doing. Because it's entirely possible that, you know, there are elements out there that you don't comprehend or you don't understand or you don't know about. You know, there's so much stuff that's classified and secret that, you know, you can have no clue. You know, the idea behind having a president in the United States and saying it's not my president, you know what? If you don't want him as president, then leave the United States. Because when you come in here as a citizen and you choose to stay here as a citizen, and then you are agreeing to be bound by the same Constitution, the same laws that everyone else is. You know, if a cop pulls me over for speeding and I go, well, you're not my cop, does that mean I still have to pay the speeding ticket? Fuck yeah, it does. You are going to be in an environment where where this president is your representative. And you have representatives in the Senate, in the offices, and you know, you have the people who represent you in your state. Stop focusing on the president and focus on them. If you don't like who's in office, then focus on the people that you vote in on the secondary elections. You know, be as vigilant that you were during presidential elections as you were during the, you know, the same for the secondary elections. So go vote for those guys. You know, go tell them that you don't like what Trump is doing and let them put a stop to it. But you're protesting and you're whining and screaming and all that. It's not going to do any good. I mean, look, you know, there's a group of people that fought for Obama in the beginning, but you didn't see all of this from the Republicans. You know, have a little bit of respect for the office of president, even if you can't respect the man. And I think that's all I'm going to say about that, because I'm just getting way too wound up. You know, I'm going to piss people off. Like I said, you know, I warned you at the beginning, I piss people off. But, you know, the thing is that we have this guy in office, and he's there to stay. I mean, that's just, you just got to accept the fact that he is there to stay. Oh, he came in. I wasn't paying attention.
The Allied forces have captured a zone.
Let's see. Down here. I'm going to go into battle with this guy. So anyway, you know, the important thing to think of is what do you actually want. Like, in this country, forget about the president or anything else. Think about what you want. And you need to know what you want, how you want your life, how you want to change, what you want for health care, what you want for immigration, what the things that you want. Instead of communicating that through protesting or saying he's not my president, communicate that to your local representative. Communicate that when the secondary elections come up and it's your turn to vote for your senator or House of Representatives. Write to them. Talk to them. You know, hell, I'm sure their addresses are on. Go visit with them. You know, let's, you know, take action within the system.
We have taken the initiative.
Oh, man. Not that it's any better. But let's see here. Come in at a different angle. Doom-de-doom-de-doom. Bigger map.
A little more effort and victory will be ours.
Damn. Back to spectator mode.
Enemy forces have captured a zone.
Yep. Yeah, this is one of those back and forth ones. Takes fucking forever. All right, so I think that this is me. I'm gonna call it quits because I'm not doing bad, but I'm really not doing that good either. So, I don't know. But, I think that it comes right down to the idea. Let me finish off this thought, assuming I haven't pissed everybody off at this point. But what it really comes down to is the way this country was designed, it was designed to be a representative democracy. And that basically means that everybody's voice is heard, even the minority. Okay? So if you have a problem, okay, with the way that the president is doing his job, then there are resources to you that don't require you to cause problems for other people. That is why we have a representation. That is why we have this idea where we have this balance of power. All the power does not rest in the president's hands. Trump does not have all of the necessary power that you think he does. It's just, it isn't that way. So when you're thinking about, our government, you have to think about the fact that the representative that is in your area, if you didn't vote for him, then you lost your voice. All right. So that's what I'm saying. Vote. And for those people who support Trump, I am personally sick of the Democratic Party. I think we need a new party. I think we need something to replace the Democratic Party. But the only way that's ever going to happen is if we get the Democrats out of Washington. And the only way that's going to happen is if you vote for someone that's not a Democrat. I don't care if you vote for an independent or Green Party or Libertarian or anything, but whatever you do, just don't vote Democrat. I think that's the only way that we're ever going to get anywhere. And the Democratic Party has always been about basically socialism, social aspects. Don't get me wrong, Social Security is good, but It was always meant to be a temporary measure. It's the Social Security and Medicaid and all these other different federal plans fail after a number of years. If you just look at contact any reputable mathematician and ask him to crunch the numbers, or a CPA, they'll tell you the system will break itself. If we keep going at it the way it is. All of these programs require money, and 1,000 people. We have 100,000 people paying into a system and 200,000 people taking money out of it. What do you think is going to happen? So that's why we do these things that are more privately run, because the idea is that we have to have a balance. We have to have a way to have a system that's going to be able to sustain itself. So you have to forget about the bullshit and how you feel about a president, how you feel about his policies. You have to have enough to do your research, look at the facts, and decide what's actually best for the country. All right, and that's what's important. It's not important who's in office. It's important what's best for the country, and making sure that the people who are in office give that to you. All right? If you are transgender or the LGBT community, and you're afraid that Trump hates you, he has said in numerous speeches that he believes that all Americans should be treated equally. That includes you. That you have this, any idea that you give to someone that says, well, because it's a Republican, they hate LGBT, that's bullshit. It's always been bullshit. All right? The Democratic Party wants you to believe that the Republicans don't like LGBT, so you'll vote Democrat. All right, that's the problem. It's this stupid political gain where the other party wants to make you think that certain things are true so that you'll vote for them, and that's bullshit. So when you go to the polls, when we have this next political, when you have the next election, local, elections, take the time to study the issues. Decide what it is that you want to be true, and find the candidate that is most likely going to give that to you, and vote for them. And that's how you're going to affect change. All right? But you also have to understand that you have to know what it is that you're asking for. You want free health care. Somebody has to pay for it. There is no such thing as free health care. All right? If we had true free health care, we wouldn't need health insurance, and every single health insurance agencies and every single one of those Americans is going to be out of work. Do you really want to put Americans out of work? No. So even if we wanted to get rid of health insurance and have pure health care, we have to take that over time. Otherwise, we're going to have a huge economic issue with all of those people out of work. And that's not what we want. We want more people to work. All right? The way we pay for this is by people essentially donating a certain portion of their money that they make, and that's what we call taxes, to the federal government. And by doing that, that's what pays for it. If you're working and you have a job, okay, you will in fact be paying for your health insurance one way or the other. And you will be paying for the health insurance of someone who's not working. So think about that. So wouldn't you want a plan that's going to cost less for everyone? That's basically what Trump is after. And that's basically what Obamacare did not provide. It sounded like a good idea. And we are still on he still had this idea before Obama. People did not consider the fact of having this universal health care, the idea of providing health care for everyone. That really wasn't a big issue, but now it is. So, I'm thankful that he brought that up, because I think that we should have it. I think it should be a right to have health care. Prior to Obama, during the Clinton administration, there was a thing that no hospital could turn you down, regardless of whether you could afford their services or not. There used to be I remember this one hospital. There used to be this plaque or this thing on the wall that basically says that the hospital can't refuse you care, whether or not you can pay. Obamacare, believe it or not, actually took that away. because their basic concept was, well, we don't need it if everybody has insurance. But that didn't work. Not everybody had insurance. In fact, the current estimates are that if Obamacare continued, essentially we would end up with fewer people having insurance than we had previous to Obamacare or the Affordable Health Care Act. And if you go back in time and you go study the previous OCB report, you will see that it was more expensive, caused more issues. But anyway, so that's enough of that. I've had enough. You've had enough. So, DrewTheGeek.net. You can go to id10tandstuff.com and listen to all my other podcasts that I have where I ramble on about all sorts of shit. In fact, if you go into the podcasts for this past, 2015, 2016 year, you will hear me say that Hillary Clinton is going to lose because of the email shit. And that the Democrats need to find someone else to be a representative, that she shouldn't be there, that she's never going to win. So I knew it long before anybody else was talking about it. I knew that Hillary wasn't going to make it. And that's a failure of the Democratic Party and that stupid bullshit, pull this playing card and you got an ace and you got a jack of spades, so you're fuckered. Their decision strategy and their process for deciding who's going to be the representative, that's what fucked you. Because you should have had someone other than Hillary. And if someone other than Hillary had been in there, maybe Trump wouldn't be in office. So, you only have the Democrats to blame for that one. Anyway, this is Drew the Geek, and I'm done.